Dana, it sounds like everybody's working under the assumption that Verdum is next. I think you said on the post show probably.
Yeah.
Is there any conceivable reason that wouldn't be the fight if it's next?
Probably Verdum.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously such a fantastic night, not to look for something negative, but there were some kind of late stoppages with the referee, some weird judging.
One referee.
Yeah, one guy.
That bald dude was terrible. What's his name? Anybody? Huh? Jason Statham. He was terrible. Guy was terrible. Always in the wrong position. And guys took. What was the last fight that he was horrible in? Yeah, he did the Wahlberger fight. He did the. He did three. Three were bad. Yeah, the guy's terrible. Judging was. I agree. What are you gonna do?
Nate Marquardt, what's his 3 losses in a row? Is he in danger of losing his job here?
I don't make that decision tonight.
There's one judge who was his very first UFC. He did that. He did this third round.
I know.
She won that fight because she won the 3rd round on one of the cards. Otherwise, Kaufman would have won the fight.
Oh, yeah, that's what you say. Yeah. You're saying on their cards, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys have that fight?
Sarah Kaufman, 28.
The second round was very close. Could have gone either way. The second round determined the fight. In reality, if you're really scoring the fight, because there's no doubt that Jessica won the first and Kaufman won the third, and the second round was razor close. I mean, you could have given that round either way.
What happened to the cage? We saw.
I don't know. I forgot to ask about that. I was so fucking happy. I forgot to ask about the cage.
Reed Harris said that there's like a clamp that holds 2 things together like this. It's metal. And actually
Broke.
Yeah. There were a couple of bad eye pokes today. And you guys have been talking about the gloves. Any update on that?
No, not yet.
Does this make you want to really push that?
Well, the last few eye pokes made me want to too, but we're working on it. What are you going to do? That's not an easy fix.
Right.
Not an easy fix. How do you make a glove that you can grapple in, and not poke people in the eye in? It makes it tough.
Do you agree to the Dodson?
Yes. Yeah. Keep your fucking fingers closed, man. And if you poke a guy in the eye poke is the most dangerous thing that can happen out there. I mean, Tim Bosch already had surgery on that thing, and he pokes him in the eye again twice. It's bad. Keep your hands closed.
It's heat of the moment, but where do you put Gilbert and Diego? Henderson, Shogun, Gustafson, Jones.
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen, especially in the first round. I'm reading all this shit about Diego doesn't even belong in there with Melendez. This is a joke. And, Diego Sanchez is one of those guys you can never count out against anybody. I mean, the kid's unbelievable. He's like unstoppable. It's sick. It's unbelievable.
Do you worry about seeing him getting those kind of wars over and over? I mean, he's still a young guy.
Yeah, I'm worried. I worry about JDS too. I think that fight should have been stopped in the 3rd. We're regulated by the government. They're the ones that And you know what? Go throughout history, and watch any boxing match between 95% of Mexican fighters, and that's how they fight. It's fucking balls to the wall, toe to toe, chin to chin. You know what I mean? It's just that's how Mexicans fight, man, and that's why Mexicans have dominated the world in the lighter weight classes, and why there's Mexican fighters in Mexico that are revered as fucking heroes and icons, because that's what they do.
Where does DC fit into 205? I mean, we haven't seen him there yet, of course, but I mean, what did you think of him beating Roy the way he did? And right now, in your mind, where does he fit into 205?
Yeah, Daniel Cormier said it his best back there. He's like, "Are you shitting me? I have to go out there and fight after that fight now? There's no way we're gonna. No matter what happens in this fight, we don't look good." And it's true. You don't want to go in there after that Sanchez, Melendez fight. But I thought he looked 1,000,000% better than the fight he had with Frank Mir. He out-wrestled him. He beat him standing up. He was kicking more than Roy. I mean, Roy was just standing there getting lit up. At 205, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to fit into 205. The 205-pound division has been, one of the, if not the nastiest division in the UFC forever. Guys are faster. A lot of guys are taller in that division. It's just, it's not not an easy division to cut down to.
Could he be a possibility for Gustafsson?
Maybe. Yeah.
While we're making rankings right now, where do you put this trilogy as far as, this is the 10th trilogy in UFC history, as far as all 3 fights happening in UFC? GSP Hughes, Maynard Edgar, do you put this above all those? Liddell Couture?
Yeah, it's the Liddell Couture was big. Yeah, that was a good one too.
Penn Hughes as well.
Edgar Maynard.
Yeah, it's good. It was good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I'd rank it. A lot of those were really good.
What happens with JDS now? He's still in his prime, but this is 2 in a row that's just so one-sided.
2 vicious beatings. Vicious. I mean, by the end of the first round, going into the second, his face was already starting to look different. I mean, Cain beat him up both times real bad. I don't know. Going into this fight, the thing that I said about both of these guys is, no matter who wins tonight, these guys knock off most of the other guys, I think. I think they're the 2 best. But then you got a question coming off a beating like Junior Dos Santos has had twice. I don't know.
Dana, taking into consideration the beating that JDS was taking against Cain, were you surprised he stayed with his back against the cage?
I think he had to. I think he was exhausted. He started to look tired to me halfway through the second round. And then after I think he should have been stopped in the third round, he got a second wind. And he was like, it was almost like he was on autopilot, just throwing punches, hoping they would land. He's a tough dude.
How do you see this fight different from the second one?
I think the difference between the second one, excuse me, and the third one is Junior Dos Santos' wrestling looked a lot better. Cain couldn't take him down like he could in that second fight. And even when he got him on the ground in the second fight, he would take those dominant positions from the back and just punish him. And Junior had a hard time getting up. He had, he was hard to take down this time, and when he got taken down, he got right back up. He really improved his wrestling.
Has Cain told you that he only likes to fight twice a year?
He tell you that?
That's what a lot of people around him say.
Nope, never told me that.
John Dodson said that he was begging Sean Shelby for a fight. He hasn't fought in 10 months, and he wasn't injured. Obviously, there's 2 sides to the story, but in the interview afterwards, he said, "Please, UFC, give me a fight. I don't want to sit out for so long."
Dodson?
Dodson, yeah. How does that happen where he's healthy and just can't get a fight? That's the longest I've heard.
Because I keep telling you guys, our roster is too full. Guys have to get fights. It's like every time after a show, we cut a guy, and they're like, "Fuck you, Dana White. You're an idiot. This guy's blah, blah, blah." Shut the fuck up. Let us run our business. The roster's too full. We want to be good to guys that deserve to be good to. Guys like Okami. I like Okami. I like him a lot. He's a great guy. But we have to, that when guys lose, and guys are at certain parts of their career or whatever it might be, guys have to be cut to thin this roster out so that guys like Dodson can continue to fight. Because we're in a situation where if we don't give guys fights, we have to pay them for not fighting, which isn't good either. It's not like I'm like, oh, we don't want to pay a bunch of guys to not fight. Guys want to fight. It's like Dodson. Guys want to stay busy and stay active. They want to fight.
What do you think of Roy?
Of who?
Roy Nelson.
What did I think? Contrary to popular belief, I try so hard to like Roy Nelson. It's like I saw him backstage before I came out to talk to you guys. It's like, "What's up, Roy? You look good. You lost weight, this, that." And I come out and hear the stupid shit that he said to you guys right before I walk out there, The guy says the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and he's very delusional. That being said, I think he's an incredibly tough guy. With his physique and everything, I'm blown away how he can compete at this level, and how talented he is and what a great chin he has. But every time he gets above number 5, he looks like he doesn't belong in the top 10. You know what I mean? You get him above number 5, he doesn't look like he belongs in the top 10. You get him in there with some guys that aren't, and he looks like a world beater. and everybody starts yelling, he should get a title shot. And then you see him fight guys that are athletic and talented and guys that are, and he looks like he doesn't belong in the top 10.
He said he thought Cormier wasn't engaging enough. Did you see it that way?
And stuff like that. So what he said was, he said Cormier wasn't engaging enough. He out-wrestled him, and he punched the living shit out of him. How much more does he want to be engaged? Huh? He says some dumb shit, and he's very delusional.
George.
He says we've never given him a title shot when he should have got a title shot. Every time you get close to a title shot, you get beat by the best in the world. That's why you've never had a title shot.
George saw the Revolution caging Nunes. It seems like they were kind of fighting not to lose. What's your take on that fight?
I don't think so. I think that was you put that fight on any other card other than tonight, people are like, damn, that was a great fight. Those guys were going at it. They were throwing hard. They were taking big shots. George Sotiropoulos ate some huge shots tonight from KJ Nunes and came back and landed big shots of his own. I thought they both fought great. It's just unfortunate that a good fight like that was on a card like this.
With that being his fourth loss, where do you see him?
I don't do that tonight.
Yeah, at the weigh-ins yesterday, the young guy who made his debut, Andre Feely, who missed weight, you spoke to him for like a minute or so. You were saying something to him. Do you remember what you said?
At the weigh-ins?
Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, we really respect you stepping up and taking this fight. And he's like, I'll never miss weight again. I'm like, we respect you taking this fight. Kid was fighting in another show at a higher weight class, a much higher weight class, and came in and cut all this weight to come into this fight tonight.
Did you see the fight?
Yeah.
Were you impressed?
Yeah, he looked awesome. And when you get into a situation like that, and you're like, wow, well, this kid was able to come in at this weight. Well, he loses a piece of his purse, and he was actually at a bigger disadvantage in that fight because of all the weight he had to cut in such a short amount of time, and taking the fight on short notice. So I have a lot of respect for guys who do that.
Do you expect him to fight at a higher weight class?
Huh?
Do you expect him to fight at a higher weight class?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. He said he'll never miss weight again, is what he was telling me up there. I was like, I respect what you did, kid. Don't worry about it.
Danny, you announced the 20th anniversary plans tonight for the big press tour. How much will the old UFC guys, the guys from like the early days, be involved? The Royce Gracies and Hart Coleman's. How many of those guys will you bring in and like do things with them as well?
Guys will be involved in that at the event. We're bringing in. I'm actually really excited for all you guys to see the documentary and see what you think about it. I'm doing a press screening Monday in Los Angeles for it, and with some press out there and a few celebrities, and I'm excited to see the feedback from people.
What did Barkley think about the fight?
Barkley loved it, man. Show me one guy in this place tonight that the girl or whoever was here didn't like the fight. It was an awesome night of fights. It was just so. The Diego and Gilbert fight was just. It was crazy, man. It's crazy. You're lucky if you see a couple of those in your lifetime, and you're actually there live to see it.
What do you think about your heavyweight division? At one point, Couture went there basically just because he thought it was an easy title to win. Do you think that has completely changed? Do you think that it's a deep division?
It's a tough division. It's like your question to Gonzaga tonight. Not only is it hard to defend the heavyweight championship multiple times like some of these other guys can, it's hard to go on a win streak in the heavyweight division. Just the streak in that division is good. And he said it best: big guys, small gloves. And when you talk about the heavyweights, man, one punch changes everything. Cain, I think that fight should have been stopped in the third round. Should have been stopped. Junior Dos Santos could have landed one punch in the fourth or fifth that could have won him the fight. That's how it is with the heavyweights.
Do you ever think about what do you attribute boxing right now to having a weak heavyweight division? Do you think it's just a coincidence, it's just a phase they're going through? Or do you think that there may be a reason why big athletic guys aren't taking up boxing like they used to in the past?
Yeah, boxing, where's Gareth Davies? Boxing has become like a European sport, man. It's like back in the 80s and 90s, you'd never see a European champion over here. Americans and Mexicans dominated boxing. And, as a sport, Floyd Mayweather and yeah, thank you, Canelo, go out and pull the number that they did, and they pull numbers like that because boxing is still that strong in Mexico and in Latin America. I've said it for a long time. Mexico has kept boxing alive, man. It's like that's why Floyd being undefeated for 17 years, going on the streak that he's been on and everything else, and then you have Canelo, who has an entire country behind him of fans that, like I said, it's like hockey in Canada. That's the way boxing is in Mexico, and that's what sells that fight. That's what, I was worried about this fight because all the Mexican fans are broke. They all went to that fight or bought that $1 zillion pay-per-view, and they all bet on Canelo too, man. You know what I mean? So I'm like, Jesus, it's going to take all the Mexican fight fans friggin' 8 months to recover from that one. I don't know if I answered your question. I start rambling and shit, but you get my point.
Kind of. I mean, I guess I just wanted to see, you're not worried at all or concerned that bigger athletes, for whatever reason, are getting into combat sports like they used to because of the state of boxing?
No, I think that as the sport continues to grow globally, and you have all these up and coming, all these children and whatever taking mixed martial arts, I think you're going to see more big guys getting into MMA than boxing.
Do you think Cain can finally be that one heavyweight champion who does have a long reign?
I do. I said it. Listen, leading up to this fight, I never give predictions. But what I said in front of all you guys a few days ago, and I was saying it to everybody, I truly think Cain Velasquez is the best heavyweight in the world. And a lot of people question his chin and stuff. He took a big shot in the first round, first punch or second punch of the fight. That hurt him. And he fought through that. Cain Velasquez has a hell of a chin.
Have you thought that before about a heavyweight champ, though? Like you think about it now, you think Cain could hold the belt. Have you thought that before, though?
No, I really haven't.
No.
I always thought it was up for grabs and anybody could win.
Even with Brock?
Especially with Brock. Yeah. I never expected Brock. Brock came to us and was 1-0. He's like, I want to fight in the UFC. I said, dude, you're crazy. What Brock accomplished is unbelievable. The fact that he was the heavyweight champion is insane. He came in 1-0 and ended up starting to go on his win streak and beating guys and won the title. And in a million years, I would have never expected that. Brock made the heavyweight division very fun while he was here. Because I don't know about anybody else at the time. Maybe you guys will all act like geniuses now and say, oh, I absolutely knew he'd win the heavyweight. I had no fucking idea this guy would get anywhere near the heavyweight championship. So, Brock, the Brock era was very fun and crazy, and I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, speaking of Brock, I was looking through the archives, and the last time I believe you said this was the best night in UFC history was UFC 116 when he came back from the Carwin.
That was crazy. That was crazy too. Carwin had him out on his feet in the first round, and he comes right out and submits him in the second round. And who would think Brock would pull off a submission?
And that was kind of the first time I heard you say this is the best card, and now you've said it again. Kind of comparing them, do you still think this is better than that?
Yeah. This beats everything. This beats UFC 100. This beats UFC whatever number you just said, and I don't know. Tonight was amazing, man. Top to bottom, the first fight of the night right up to the last fight. I mean, the Facebook fights were awesome. I always get worried when the Facebook fights at the prelims are that good, because there's been so many nights when those are good and the main card sucks, or those suck and the main card ends up being good. Me and Joe have this superstition about the prelims. When the prelims are that good, we're worried about the main card.
A couple of days ago, you re-aired 165 on Fox Sports 1. You waived the 30-day pay-per-view.
Because they asked for it.
So this was such a great card. Maybe this could come up.
You can't do that.
But actually,
Fox is our partner. What?
My question was, HBO for so long would do like a week later they would re-air a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Would you ever do that?
We can't do it. We can't do it with our pay-per-view deal. They won't allow us to do it.
Why not?
Because they don't like it.
So how'd you get
it
around
bothers them.
How'd you get around it for 165?
We asked them for permission.
Who's them?
Cable distributors.
Okay. And they said, who do you pick up the phone and call?
The Illuminati.
Right. And they said, okay, just once, just for this.
Yeah,
time,
they said we'll let you do it.
Okay.
Now you wish you'd wait a week and
No, I think that you know, I like that thing aired. I like more people watching the fight. You know, yeah, no, I love it. If we could do that more often, I would.
You think Dos Santos' corner shouldn't have thrown in the towel?
Yeah, I wanted to throw in the towel.
Why do you think that doesn't happen in MMA?
I had Tillman Fertitta, Lorenzo and Frank's cousin, sitting next to me, and asking me like, "How does this work? Can you throw in the towel?" I was like, "That's a good fucking question." I think if I threw the towel in, I'd get fucking beat to death by his corner and half the fans here, and probably next time I went to Brazil. But I'm always, you know, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but you know, I'm a believer. I always like to say, if anybody in his fucking corner cares about him, man, please throw in that towel. I thought the fight was done in the third round. Is Junior Dos Santos tough enough, and does he have the heart to go through it? Yeah, but does that mean he should? I mean, if you look at the fight, what did it end in the fifth? Yeah, it ended in the fifth. So that guy took, you know, 7-8 minutes more of punishment that I believe he didn't need to take until, you know, it ended. And that 7 or 8 minutes, I don't know, man. I don't like it.
It's not something that's a part of the culture of MMA. It's not something you see a lot, or you know, the trainer gets up and throws in the towel. Like you see it as frequently in boxing. You think maybe it's something that people need to evaluate. Maybe it does need to be something we see occasionally a little more.
Yeah, I think in cases like tonight, you know, and you know what, when you sit here and you talk about something like this, it's like, what if somebody threw in the towel on Diego Sanchez? Diego Sanchez almost knocked him out. And I think the big mistake Diego made was he went for the rear naked choke instead of jumping on him and trying to finish him. You know? So who knows?
And I think that's why, because it is such a more of an unpredictable sport. Whereas in boxing, you know, you get to the 9th and 10th round, you see the pattern, this is not going to change.
Right.
What's the point?
It's true. But in this sport, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. You know, I'm just being honest and telling you what I think. And I would have loved to have seen that. Junior's a young, talented guy, and just no need to. And the inevitable happened in the 5th round. If you watch that 3rd round again, when he's getting hit, his arms are like this. He's not defending himself. He doesn't have his hands up. He's out.
There was a point, it looked like, and I think a guy was trying to ask this earlier, Herb Dean came in, it looked like he got his hand on the shoulder.
He touched him.
Yeah.
I know.
Could you see why he backed away, why he let it go?
I don't know. I respect Herb Dean. I mean, you guys have heard me many times talk about Herb Dean as a ref, so, but...
He did actually get a hold of him, though.
Even the best have bad nights, and, you know, again, in my opinion, that should have been stopped in the 3rd. You know, what was the fight with that knucklehead referee tonight? I started screaming at this fucking guy, and somebody was getting blasted with... I counted 6. No, after that, I was in my room then.
It was Gonzaga when you stood up.
Gonzaga. So 6 extra punches he took in the face, Jordan did. You know, it's just like, I mean, if you look at the physical stature of that referee, he shouldn't be in there with 2 big heavyweights anyway. Guy weighed about fucking 97 pounds, you know? It's like when they throw what's-her-face in Nevada, and she's in there with two huge guys. It's like, are you serious right now?
I mean, how does it happen, especially because it's a first-time referee? He's never done a UFC.
Right.
How does he get an assignment like that?
Thank you. I agree with you, bro. 100%. He shouldn't be in the big fights. He shouldn't be.
Do you think if Melendez-Sanchez was a 5-round fight, Sanchez could have won?
Diego said, give us 2 more rounds. That's how crazy Diego is. When that fight was over, I went in there and he's like, Dana, give us 2 more rounds. 2 more. Okay, Diego, let me work on it. See what I can do. I don't, you know, who knows? Who knows? You know?
Given Melendez has fought Thompson and beat him twice, obviously if he wins, it seems like a natural to make that fight. Where does TJ Grant go now? We're still not sure when he's coming back.
Yeah, TJ Grant's in one of those unfortunate situations where he had the title shot and he had to pull out twice. So he's, you know.
Is he in limbo, or is it? Are we moving on?
He might, he might come back and have to fight another fight. You know, we got to keep this thing rolling.
When a guy like Gilbert goes out and does that, it's hard to ignore, right? I mean,
it's, you know, yeah, yep. It's a huge setback for TJ Grant, you know.
If Thompson won the belt and you did Gilbert versus Thompson at some point for the belt, would you bill it as the fourth fight? Because like Ronda Misha is not billed as Ronda Misha 2, I guess because the first fight was in Strikeforce. But would you promote the
We
fact that
we didn't do
fourth?
it because the first fight was in Strikeforce. Just didn't do it.
But doesn't that look better? Like that it's a repeat, that it's a sequel?
You'll know that night.
Right.
Because it's not on the poster doesn't mean, or on the commercial doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about this being the second fight.
Okay, so you would acknowledge, like, because a fourth
Yeah,
fight sounds...
Of course. People are going to know it's the fourth fight. I mean,
Right.
everything leading up to it would talk about the other 3 times that they met.
Right.
Dana, Adlan Hakimov, can you tell us about his performance and how the Russians are performing in the
That
UFC?
dude's scary. Yeah. It's crazy how, you got a wrestler who's holding that single and like, how you always see this, they're driving around. This guy hits so hard that he knocked him out, doing, with short little punches like this. That dude is nasty.
Nurmagomedov did it really good last time. What can you tell us about the Russian fight?
Yeah, they've been very impressive, and that guy is one scary Russian tonight, man. Holy shit, great fight, love it.
Are there moments where you fast track him at that point, or you give him maybe a mid-tier guy next time?
Give him what? Oh, I don't know.
What goes through your mind when you see a guy going out on a stretcher? I mean, obviously it's a little concerning.
Yeah, whenever a guy gets knocked out, and especially when a guy takes more punches than he should, it always freaks me out. The one punch knocks you out, and then for him to take more punishment after that when he's out, I go fucking crazy, man. I hate it. It makes me crazy, There's only been a couple times that you guys probably didn't see it, you're on the other side, but I jumped up and I was screaming at that fucking referee tonight. Screaming at him. Do your fucking job. Get your skinny ass in there and stop that fucking fight when this guy's out cold getting hit. Oh, I hate it so bad. It makes me sick.
So you were yelling at him after he made the stoppage?
Yeah. I was yelling at him while he was hitting him.
Right.
I don't know. It makes me crazy. And I'm telling you guys, the knockout that you guys are going to see on the Fights to Get in the House, it's probably the scariest knockout I've ever seen. Scariest knockout I've ever seen. And that dude gets hit with a few more that he shouldn't have got hit with too.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. Crazy, man. That might be the craziest knockout I've ever seen.
Worse than Uriah Hall?
Yeah, worse than Uriah Hall. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have
You're talking about the U.S. stuff?
The craziest knockout is for the U.S. stuff?
The tough that I just shot Tough 2 days ago to get into the house
Oh, okay.
in Vegas.
Oh, okay. What weight class?
Crazy knockout. Crazy.
Would you offer Cain and Cormier the fight? See if they would turn it down if you'd offer to them?
Cain and Cormier? Cormier's moving to 205.
If you offer them the fight, would you?
He knows he could have the fight if he wanted it. Yeah. And the thing, everybody keeps asking me about, well, why don't you make them fight? Well, they didn't ask to fight.
I thought that because they train partners that until you actually.
But I've said before, when two guys I'll give you an example. Koscheck and Fitch. We're both at 170, we're both going like this. They said, we'll never fight each other. Cormier and Cain is staying at heavyweight, and Cormier's like, I'm moving to 205. So there's no question about it. If Cormier said, yeah, I'm gonna stay at heavyweight, but I won't fight Cain Velasquez, I'd be like, bullshit, you're not. That makes no sense. But they've never said that.
You now have Cain Velasquez fighting Verdun, who's Spanish, very familiar fights in Mexico since he's been calling the fights for Mexico and Latin America. You will have Kelvin Gastelum on a good time frame. You will have Eric Perez on a good time frame. So what's the missing piece for calling you have the television deal, so what's the missing piece for the Mexico event?
I'm trying to put that together, what you just said. What did you ask me?
What is missing? I mean, you have the deal, you have the venue, you have a fight that would be great for Mexico, Verdun against Velasquez.
Oh, so what's the holdup? Why are we not just announcing UFC Mexico event right now? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Fuck it, you're right. We should do this. I agree with you.
It could be a fight in a Brazilian stage. Stage in Brazil. So.
You want that fight in Brazil instead? We didn't even have a fight in Mexico, and you're trying to steal their fight. You guys have like 107 events there, and
Just think you can just put in a big
Brazilians trying to steal a fight from Mexico.
You guys not here, so you guys in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. If the Puerto Rico guy was here.
So Dana, I'm sorry if you spoke about this earlier, but I personally thought Sarah Kaufman won that fight. I know it was very, very close.
Yeah.
So what was your take on that?
This is exactly what I think. I think that Jessica won the first round, Kaufman won the second round, and that second round was very hard to score. I think it was razor thin. Either way, that fight could have gone either way. So I'm not like, oh my God, how the hell did they give that fight to Jessica? And if Kaufman won it, I wouldn't be like, holy shit, this is ridiculous. I think that second round was that close that it was hard to, that it could have gone either way.
And I'm curious your take on the women's division. I know we always talk about the ladies stealing the show, but it actually maybe seems that there's more depth and they're even better than you hoped they would be when they came here.
What I love about the women's fight tonight is that everybody always talks about how the women, they steal the show, they go in and they go crazy and start. This fight tonight was very technical. A very technical fight. I thought Jessica had a beautiful jab that she used to set up all of her punches, and she shut her eye with that jab. And Kaufman hits hard and really almost changed almost knocked her out in the third round. Because I actually had Jessica winning that fight, that third round, until she got hit with those shots and got hurt. So it was great to see a real technical fight. Because it's one thing to say the women have a lot to prove, so they go in and they just go at it. And to see a technical fight tonight was pretty cool.
And what's your take on how well Tough is performing, and what are the ladies doing in terms of the ratings for you and bringing new vitality to a show that's obviously been around for a while?
I told you guys going into the season it was a great season, and every time the ladies fight, you all know they do higher ratings than the men. So that tells you something, and as we see the sport continue to evolve, and especially this 135-pound division, I'm glad I did it, and I'm happy to see all these girls coming in as talented as they are and as hard as they fight. It's good shit, and I'm glad I did it.
Have you heard? Sorry. Go ahead. Have you heard anything about Holly Holm?
I have. You're like the fucking billionth person that's asked me about Holly Holm. Like, I was on, what the hell was I? I was on the street the other day, and some guy's like, hey, sign Holly Holm. I'm like, yeah, I know. Everybody's telling me. I haven't seen her fight.
Fans are telling you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I haven't seen her fight, and but I keep hearing about her. She's like the female Conor McGregor. I was hearing about this guy. I thought Conor McGregor was a heavyweight when I kept hearing about him. For some reason, I don't know why I did, but I did. And Holly Holm, I don't know what she looks like. I've never seen her fight, but I know who she is.
Do you ask Sean Shelby about her?
Yeah, they know. They know who's next and who.
Right.
When it's time for Holly Holm, they'll let me know.
Dan, it's only a couple days in, but how is BJ so far? You're filming the show. Obviously, he's kind of that guy that always has that mental thing. You can tell how he is. So how is he so far?
What does mental thing mean?
Like in terms of like how focused he is, or how determined he is, or what his focus is going into a fight or whatever.
I always think that mental thing means something else with BJ Penn, and he's exactly the same. I mean, he's the same BJ. He comes in and he's BJ. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
Do you think this is kind of a last run for him in a way? I mean, his age and where he's been at. I mean, is this pretty much it for him? This new weight class. I mean, everything he's doing.
I do, and but BJ doesn't see it that way. BJ sees this thing as, he's first of all, he's almost. Everybody's questioning his weight. He's almost there now. Wait do you see how skinny BJ Penn is? It's crazy. BJ's one of those guys, I guess the mental thing, like you said, is that once he sets his mind to something, this is what he's decided to do, and he believes he's going to rip through these guys and and win that title. And I love that. That's what I want guys here for. That's why when the older guys try to come back, I always say, why? You're at this age, you've accomplished so many things. I mean, if you look at what BJ Penn has accomplished, BJ Penn built the 155-pound division at a time when people used to go, oh, those guys are too small, we don't want to see the small guys fight. Those guys will never be a pay-per-view draw. BJ was one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in the UFC at the time.
Dana, Kenny and I tonight at work kept checking the Red Sox score.
Me too.
I won't have to argue about that.
How about that?
This is a storyline for you and me and a few of us. But
All the MMA guys just went, give us a break. So, you know, they're down 2-1. It was in the 7th or 8th. And Victorino, who's had a horrible postseason, gets up there with bases loaded and hits a grand slam home run, man. It's so awesome. Obviously, you know, we're very close to Victorino, and to see the Sox win and for him to pull off a huge, you know, that's the kind of stuff guys like him dream about. You know, his secretary, his wife used to be Lorenzo's secretary. So that's how we met Victorino. She's like, this is my boyfriend. You know, he's going to be a professional baseball player someday. I was like, yeah, right. He's about this fucking tall, right? And not a big dude. And look at him now. Look at what he's done and accomplished. And to pull off a grand slam home run while he's playing for the fucking Red Sox is the greatest thing ever. I love it.
How come you only talk about the Red Sox in October?
Yeah. Listen. You need to shut up and just not even talk about sports, okay? Unless it's MMA related, you just need to stop talking.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. All your teams lose. That's what's weird.
With them. I'm still there.
Yeah, good.
I only hear you.
Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there.
You cringe at all when a guy like John Dodson is doing these backflips everywhere?
I thought you were going to say when Ariel Hawani starts talking about it. What? Say that again?
When John Dodson, an athlete like that.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. But, you know, it's cool when he does it and lands them. When he misses them, I cringe.
You're telling him to tone it down. You're going to get injured one day, just stop sort of thing.
Yeah, he's a maniac. I mean, look at that kid. I'd like to tell him to quit wearing Teenage Ninja Turtle socks too, and you know, and dressing like a 4-year-old kid. But you know, he is who he is. I think he's one of the best athletes in the sport. I mean, the kid is unbelievable. How he, the way he picked that kid apart, and you could tell tonight that kid has an unbelievable chin, and that kid is durable as hell. And what John Dodson did to him tonight was unbelievable. Dodson's badass. He's badass.
What about his picture with Chrissy at the weigh-ins?
That was funny. Yeah, he's a funny, you know, off-the-wall, crazy kid. But when he steps into that, you know, when he's outside the octagon, he goofs around and jokes around a lot and everything. The minute he steps into that octagon, man, he's all business. He's all business. He doesn't play around. He comes right after you and tries to finish you. I love watching John Dodson fight.
How is the flyweight division developing? Because you have the rematch coming up the tough finale, and then you have like a young guy like Montague come in, who is a real good prospect. He gets knocked out by Dodson, who just lost to Demetrius. Is it tough to, when you have that recycling there, where it's like guys keep getting there, but it's hard to deny him. Dodson's probably back to being another maybe number 1 or number 2 guy again.
You're right. No, there's no doubt. Just like we were talking about Cain and Junior, I think they're the best 2 guys in that weight division. You know, him and Mighty Mouse.
Surprisingly, Dodson said after the fight, asking if he wanted to title fight, he said he didn't care. He just loves life. So whatever comes his way, he's just going to enjoy it. And he doesn't seem to be a character that, you know.
Yeah, good for him. I wish I had that attitude. You know, make my life a lot fucking easier if I was that way. I need to hang out with Dodson more.
So, Dana, was tonight kind of the perfect storm of a great card and a great fight city? Why do you think it sold out so much? I mean, what was special about tonight to make this a place where literally, you
just got here, didn't you? You were doing your other job.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We were number 1. We're the number 1 biggest gate of all time here. We're number 1. Number 2 is the Rolling Stones. Number 3 is the UFC. Number 4 is Madonna, and number 5 is the UFC. This town's awesome, man. This is a big fight town. They love the UFC here, and we love Houston. I'd come back here every weekend if we could. And this is a cool city, too. I had some of the best Mexican food I've ever... Any of you guys eat at the Guadalajara here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, went there like 3 times.
Was that insane? It was...
I just kept going back.
Yeah. I couldn't stop eating, man. I said, get me the fuck out of this place. I can't stop eating. It was insane. It's the best Mexican food I've ever had. You know, and I like... You know, you ask around here, you're like, where should I go for Mexican? They're going to send you to that real Mexican place. I'm talking Mexican American. I need like sour cream and shit like that. I can't have the real Mexican food. And yeah, Tex-Mex, exactly. And it was off the charts. Everybody here has been there. That's awesome. Good? Good. All right. Thank you guys so much for your support. Appreciate it.